We're probably live right now.
I gotta tweet out some
And if
links,
you're
man.
just joining us, welcome. And that's pretty good. Okay, so good evening, everybody. It's Sunday, August 16th. It is the second week of Big Brother All Stars, Big Brother 22 USA. And we are here covering the nominations episode for the Sunday night here. I'm Dave Mader coming to you here on Super Mader Brothers Podcasting, joined by my brother Jeff and our co-host Jaemeel Robinson. How you doing tonight, guys?
All right.
Good. Not the way I thought it was going to go, but was actually kind of surprised and kind of happy about the Noms compared to what I thought was going to happen.
Well, I'm not. I was very disappointed. Okay, Jaemeel, what was your take?
Um. Oh wow. This was an interesting episode, and
Was it ever?
yes, not necessarily in terms of like things happening, in terms of like you're watching the show and there's like plot that occurs. More like stuff that is stated and implied, and as we later learn on the feeds, discussed and
Well, hey, we're
teased.
not going to get into the feeds yet.
I'm
We
not
got
talking about the feeds. I'm just
feeds
talking
free
about
yet.
how it's further backed by the feeds. But it was an interesting episode.
Jaemeel, could you turn up your audio a bit? I think you're a
I
bit low.
can.
Thank you.
How about now?
That's better.
You say better, but does that mean it's good?
You're
Could
good
be, could even better. Like that, you know. There's I didn't.
How about now?
Even better? I don't know. But do I eventually get to the point where I say couldn't be better than that?
Sounds
Could
good
it
to
be?
me.
All right. And I'll also talk a little bit louder as well.
That's good. No, you're good.
Oh.
You're that's really good now. That's even
Okay.
we were wrong. Yeah, that's as good as could ever get.
Okay.
And perfection.
I'll just
like-
go into my Big Brother 14 chef mode.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Here's my big take. Memphis. I don't like this guy. I don't know him. He is a dick. Okay. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna hold back here. I'm not gonna pull the punches.
I have a quote. I have a quote from Amanda Dowell.
Amanda Dowell. What is Amanda Dowell saying?
She says Memphis is kind of a dick.
I agree. I'm with
End
you.
quote. End quote.
He was not well received, I thought, by most of the players, in particular the women in this episode. We saw many conversations tonight with Memphis as the head of household, exploiting this power, right? Because Cody was the HOH, now he's the HOH, and this. I don't know him, but I just get the sense of who he is now more than ever. And not only is he not a nice guy, but he doesn't have this charm. And a lot of like the players, like Nicole A in particular, and a few of the others, like were just like they weren't having it. They were like, "You're not telling me how to play the game. You're not the boss of me, whatever." So
yeah. Well, certain players though, like Janelle, did a good job of going like, I know Memphis. I know he's a dick, but I know he's not coming after me because I'm also kind of like, one of those players that will do this if I get power.
Like abrasive.
So, like abrasive, yes. Very like Janelle's very similar when she gets power, and you'll see it when she eventually does because she's going to win a competition at some point. And when she does, I think you'll see a very similar kind of attitude. Now, I don't think she would go quite to the same lengths. Also, I feel like this episode a very juxtaposition of, like Davon and Bailey were talking a lot about real world issues, a lot about race. And then we have, all three players in the house that are black, all of them were like not having it with Memphis.
and we're potential targets. Like when we got to the short list of who he was looking at, it was like David was number one. David was always at the top of his list. He made David a have-not tonight. He does not like David. He is making it very clear because and here you can look at it two ways. He's a bully and all these things, and what it was kind of sticking out to me was sort of like the movie Major League, right? And I feel like Memphis is Roger Dorn. And he thinks David is Rick Vaughn. He's the wild thing. He has to he's the rookie. I have to
needs to
haze
prove
him. I gotta haze you. That's part of the ritual too, right? Like, and I also and eventually David's gonna sleep with Memphis's wife, I suppose. That's what
How he also picks David as a have not is interesting because he's like And I'm like, wait, did you just flip him off? Right?
Yeah,
Because he just it was such a weird action, right? Straight to him. It was, oh my gosh.
it was a bit personal, I thought, like, between David
Yeah.
and Memphis.
And I
Overall.
think David saw it coming. He says in the DR, he's like, "Look, I like the guy, all right, but like we don't get along, right?" It's kind of what he said. He's like, he's a nice enough guy, but it's like
They're not pals.
He and him are never going to be friends, and they kind of know that about each other. And so it's like immediately David had that feeling, and then it got like affirmed when he said to him at the end, when he was just like, "You need to prove yourself, buddy. Pick up your slacks there and really prove yourself, because we're all stars. You're a no star. I mean, let's face it." Is basically what he said to him, and I was like, dude, like, I don't know, that Memphis. Not too smart, in my opinion, as far as HOH. It showed that you were never HOH, Memphis. It showed.
Sure. The reason why you got that long in BB10 was because you were never given like real power. Because if this is how you're gonna wield it, oh my gosh, like it was like a comedy of like misplays. Everyone was talking about how Cody was like, he misplayed his first HOH. No way. Cody has like no blood in his hands. Everyone's already moved past Keisha and everything like that. You have people like, who's really gunning for Cody? You don't really even like hear it being mentioned or even being a thing. Like, if anyone won, I don't think Cody would touch the block, which like that's something to be said after an HOH. Like,
I think the only
if anyone is on the block or anyone wins HOH next week that isn't a part of Memphis's group, isn't like the first thought is like, hey, maybe we might want to get rid of Memphis because he is an absolute asshole.
Yeah, I think for sure. I also think the only player that might put up a Cody that could have won the HOH would have been probably Kaser. I think he's the only guy that would have put up Cody. But he probably wouldn't have as well if certain things started, getting more inflamed within the house. But, we'll see. We'll see what goes on here, with this week and see what happens with the veto. But I see like Memphis wants David to go home. He basically wants him to win the veto to prove himself. Otherwise, he wants the house to vote out David. That's kind of like what I got from it. I don't think he really wants Nicole Anthony out, but...
He doesn't care if she goes, though. Anyone you put up, no matter what, if somebody you're like, well, if they go, they go. Well, you're expendable to them on some level.
Right? Well, sometimes it's a strategic decision, right? So say you have your target, right? So say his target's David, right? If he knows enough people like Nicole Anthony and want to save Nicole Anthony, it more ensures that David will go home. And that's what a lot of HOHs do. Like they put up somebody they know is well liked, and we'll stay there as the pond, and but you don't want to get stuck in that position, because then eventually the pond will go home. That happens a lot in Big Brother.
Yeah, Spencer. Like, Kevin is a really good pawn because people like Kevin. He's unoffensive, and you can kind of put him up against someone that you don't like, and most likely, often than not, people will take Kevin over that other person. So that's why he's a perfect pawn, right? Now, Nicole A, on the other hand, she has some people that don't like her, obviously, Franzel. And
there can be only one, Nicole.
And David is just, I guess he's an easy pick, but the way that Memphis goes around doing things this episode is just...
so cringy.
It's like there's no end game in sight for him with that type of attitude.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mastermind bone in his body.
He's trying to avenge Dan Giesling. He was denied by Christmas, his alliance member tonight.
Was he? Did he even want Ian out? I don't think he did.
He said he did. He said he's getting justice for Dan.
Yeah, I think that's a bunch of
justice
BS.
Like, what? Dan won. Dan got second place. He needs no Dan isn't like mad that Ian won. All right.
Yeah.
Well, according to Memphis, he is. He had to make this up. He thought it was a travesty that Ian beat Dan, the guy who beat him.
That's on him. That's on Memphis, and
That's in his head,
Memphis.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like
He wants
that's
to do he wants to
absurd.
do revenge for Dan, but no revenge for Keisha. The player he also played with Keisha in the same season with those two players. But Keisha's just like he could have cared less if she went home. Like there was no, oh, I'm sorry you're leaving. He did it in the goodbye message, but he didn't really care. He doesn't seem to really care about anything as far as a certain alliance member. He just wants a big group, like 5 other people in his alliance, and then he just wants to cruise right to that point in the game. And then that's how I see him playing, which never works because I think he'll be gone.
Well,
in 2 weeks.
he's the biggest target now in this alliance, right? Whether it's secret or it becomes known to the house. Like these 6, the blonde, beautiful people, maybe not Cody, but they're all like.
Do you want to talk about like their names, the names that they pitched?
Oh no, yeah. What is that? Yeah, I haven't actually heard the name of this.
The unusual
so
suspects are-
the usual suspects. They were waiting on production to see if they can get the go ahead to take it, which come on, no, they're not going to take it, right? So the other suggestion was the Hard Six. A Hard Six, which is another stupid name. So they're
like
still
a hard
working
6-pack or something. Or?
the Hard Six. I guess maybe the Hateful Eight. They were looking for like. It doesn't
another
work.
movie. They're just cinephiles, eh?
It's dumb. So, as of right now, they're still working on names for their group. It's dumb.
It's off to a great start.
Like the Ken and Barbies is what they should be called. Kens and Barbies. That's what they kind of seem like to me.
I don't think that group is long for anything because the moment that they don't have power, everyone's just going to throw Memphis.
They're going to scramble. Yeah, they're going to totally throw Memphis.
Memphis is the perfect person because you see how. Why blame it on Nicole? Blame it on Memphis. Memphis is the one who's rubbing people the wrong way, telling people that they should be doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
If I was Cody, I'd be like, oh yeah, Memphis told me to put you and Keisha up. He was the one who did that. You can see how overbearing he is. Do you think that's something that I would do? Right? Just totally throw him under the bus. There's no everyone would believe it because they see how when he actually did have power, like how he was reacting.
But you know how Memphis is playing. It really like of the seasons I've watched of the players I know since BB15. He's reminded me a lot of Pauly Calafiore, and how he played because he was very aggressive. And when he was HOH, he was just like doing wore the robe and was like the king and just like I was born to this. I'm the greatest ever. And that's how Memphis is reminding me. And I was bred for this, right? Because Cody had played so well, and because the Calafiores are just bred for Big Brother, according to and the challenge.
We need a montage of Memphis just baking cakes or pies for 2 hours. We need to get that.
Sad and like waving the American flag.
You're so great. Oh
God. It's just it's basically like playing like with intense arrogance. Is what you can boil it down to.
No,
Devin. But it's not very all-star. It's not very all-star.
No.
Memphis does have a daughter, right?
Yeah.
Memphis lost 7-0 for a reason. Now, it was Dan, and he's one of the best ever, but that still doesn't matter that much. I mean, he should have got an all vote. I mean, you don't, you had no friends by the time you got to the end. Nobody wanted to give you the money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a flaw in his strategy, I think, and we're seeing it. And he's acting like he's better than everybody else. That's really what it comes down to. He's very cocky.
But he's never won an HOH.
I know. Exactly. There's no humility. Yet he has every reason to have humility because you lost 7-0. You never won an HOH.
You have more HOHs than David. You have one more. Just one. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's okay. And so just to talk, we talked a little bit about the nominations. David and Nicole A. Very sad. If you're this is the house I'm rooting for. Always the underdog, and this is my journey every time on Big Brother, where I see these underdogs slowly get picked off by the stronger, more savvy alliance, and we're seeing it so far here. Just in terms of being in power comes down to athleticism, or in this case, this week it was a memory challenge, like or how much you can remember from the thing and the true false nature of it. And yeah, good for Memphis, but I hope we get some. I would like to see a different dynamic next week. Cody to Memphis, like if it's like Christmas is the HOH next week, what does that look like? And or if it's Nicole Frenzel, or I don't know. It's
That's her crying for the entire week.
Oh my gosh! Oh
no! Everyone's gonna think I'm an alliance. I
I'm
am.
not
I don't want them to
nice.
know. They're gonna be so angry at me.
I can't use my safety suite this week because that means I won't be able to use it next week.
Oh, okay, the whole thing with Memphis and the safety suite, and he was trying to get everybody to play it so that they would use it up so he could keep it. He was even trying to get members of his alliance, like Tyler, to do it too, so that he would use it up, so that he's kind of wants to align with Cody. It seems like, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of what his vision of this game is. With him and Cody are running everything. Like he'll win HOH. Cody will win HOH next week, probably in Memphis's mind, and then they'll just trade places all the way till the end. That's like his kind of fantasy here.
It's not going to happen. I don't think Cody's going to win HOH next week. Cody's not in a position. He's in a good position. He's already had his HOH under his belt. Why would he win? Who is he protecting? Not
But what if Meow Meow wins?
Meow Meow.
And then
Enzo?
it's against.
I forget Enzo's in this alliance.
I don't call him Enzo
or
anymore.
Is he in this alliance? No, Enzo's not in this alliance.
He's in the other.
He's in the other alliance, which is
Cody's
doing nothing apparently.
Well, why do they need to do anything right now?
Well, I don't know. I just see Memphis terrorizing the whole house, and I'm just like, what?
He's making his own bed. No one from the actual lines Enzo's a part of is on the block. So therefore, and Memphis is making all these waves. So you sit back and you just pick and choose your spots. And if anyone tries to take a shot, you just point them towards Memphis. Why? You don't have your entire alliance can take a week off because it's not like anyone's going to be put on the block, or possibly backdoored from anyone from that alliance. So why bother?
What alliance is Nicole Anthony in?
Nicole Anthony is not in that alliance.
She's not. She's in no alliance. She has no alliance.
Who
will weep? Who will weep for her if she goes?
She's kind of with Kate for Janelle, but not really.
Not really Janelle. Not really Janelle. She's with Kevin.
Ian. She likes Ian.
Kevin and Ian. Yeah.
Kevin and Ian. That's it. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kevin. What's Kevin doing in the house now?
Kevin's laying low.
Yeah, he's happy he's not on the block.
There's certain players we're not seeing much of, right? Even who we thought would be the insurgents, with Janelle and Kesar, who were going to be against this sort of a majority alliance. But no, they're just happy not to be on the block this week. They're pretty content. So okay, what will be the other side? Will it be Davon, Kesar, Janelle, Bailey? But Cody can't be in both alliances. But
there are no sides yet. That's what I see.
So there are preliminary talks with Bay and Day, obviously, with Kevin, with Anthony, and possibly David. Right? Which all makes sense. But just like a lot of other alliances, are they going to get organized? It doesn't really seem so. And I think this vote could galvanize the team, could.
Right.
We'll see, because technically you would have both members in that group fighting for their lives.
I guess I got to get behind somebody then who's going to win this game. Who do I actually think is going to win Big Brother based on where things are headed right now?
Cody's
going to win Big Brother, right? Or Memphis? It's Cody
not Memphis. Memphis is a perfect goat. As of right now, who would vote for Memphis
to win?
Yeah.
Not David.
Janelle, maybe. Not David. Yes. Not David. God.
That's why he wants him out. He's like, no, this guy won't vote for me at the end. I need to get votes. I'll just get rid of people who don't like me.
I'll be a jerk to people and then
Not a
wonder
terrible
why.
strategy.
Like I need to vote them out after I'm being a jerk to them because I don't think they're going to vote for me. It's ridiculous. Hmm.
Is there anything else like notable in this episode? Did we talk about the actual challenge itself to balance the?
Well, Ian was pretty observant about Memphis's plan. So was Nicole A, because they both realized like Memphis just basically wants everyone to use the safety suite, so he has a clear path for next week. Even Cody, right? Cody more or less knew it, but he's like, I'm gonna be fine next week, so I might as well just play it, right? Tyler didn't
Right.
feel like he needed to, right? So I don't know if who hasn't played yet? Enzo, Tyler, Nicole A,
Memphis.
Memphis, Danny. That's it, right? 5 people are left.
Yeah.
Right. So, like Enzo's not going up on the block. Danny's not going on the block. So, Tyler, Nicole, and Memphis, right, really might need to win next week. Right.
Interesting.
So,
Well, it depends on who HOH is, of course, but it's I like this twist. I like this twist to the game. I think it's a different dynamic with the safety suite and when you use it. But of course now that it's been introduced, they're gaming it, of course, and trying to figure out how to like use it and make deals around it, which is interesting. But the first time is always going to be better than every other subsequent time, probably, that they do it. The other thing too was just the whole have not aspect and how the passing of the have not, like picking your successor as a have not, I think at least makes have not more interesting, maybe a little bit more relevant to the game. We only saw one like volunteer situation, which has kind of been the status quo for a long time on Big Brother, where who wants to be a have not? Okay, I'll do it this way. It will be my turn, and there's sort of a camaraderie. And now I guess and if you're going to do it, try to make it a little bit like an aspect of the game.
Conflict. Yeah,
draw conflict and to sort of have like resentment against certain people, perhaps, as you're going through, and what you're going to vote for and what you aren't, and who you're going to save and whatever, right? So I don't know. Like at least the whole point of Big Brother is to sort of see how people react in this particular experiment, which is to lock them all inside this house together for a prolonged period, and to go through this process of slowly voting each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, just reading a bit of the spoilers for the spoiler talk.
Okay,
we're geared up.
Okay. No, are we ready for spoilers then?
I want to see some flames.
I'm ready. Oh yeah, we gotta get the.
Okay, hold on. I gotta get the flames ready.
It's hot.
Hold on.
Hot.
Oh lordy, that's where the page comes in. That spoiler notes.
It's time for spoiler talk.
You're composing a song on your guitar?
Yeah. Gonna talk about the spoilers.
Spoilers go up, spoilers go down.
We're doing it.
Yeah, spoiler talk. Ooh, this is going to be for Survivor Talk too, right? That's where you have that island there.
Yeah.
Yes.
An island onto themselves.
Do you want to know who won the POV?
Oh, I don't even know this. This is great.
Okay, is that where we're going right away? We're going right to the.
We can talk about who's playing in the POV.
Tell me who played in the POV, Jeff.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay,
I'll
so POV.
I don't know anything. I'm learning along with you.
David, Nicole A, obviously, Ian, Tyler, Nicole F, and Memphis played in the POV.
Okay, so since you guys don't know, who do you think won?
Go through those people again, slower.
David, Nicole A, Ian,
right.
Tyler, Nicole F, and Memphis.
I think Tyler won.
I'm hoping for David.
Okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, guys. But Memphis is the POV winner.
Brutal.
Too much, too hard, too fast. Memphis,
Oh,
you
Lord.
are out of here before you know it.
Oh, Lord.
That's my prediction.
Apparently, it was a joke of a competition. It was a bicep thing or something. Whoever had the biggest biceps.
Lord. It's going to be a rewind week. If they're smart, make it into a rewind week.
Yeah,
oh,
rewind.
My God.
Yeah, I'm all about it, actually. So, what have they had the ceremony, Jeff?
So, they haven't done the ceremony yet, so that's not determined. But Cody has told Memphis to try to backdoor Janelle.
Yeah, I did hear that.
And Memphis kind of lost his mind. He says, I go calm down, relax. I'm like, okay, so you're telling me if you were HOH and you won the veto, you would backdoor Janelle? Don't be telling me to do something that you wouldn't do. Cody says, see me, I would easily backdoor Kaser. They won't really want Janelle. Memphis, I'm looking out for the two of us. The other 6 is great, and we'll continue to look out for them too, but, and then Cody's like, it's a lot of numbers around us, which is what we need. Memphis is like, no, I'm with you, and I agree with you, and I think if Janelle wins and you continue to do what you're doing, she will put you up. Cody said, that's what. So Cody has the opinion that Janelle will come after Memphis, whereas like that's not really what we got from the TV show tonight. So
yeah. Prior to that conversation, I think about before the POV, Janelle and Memphis were talking together. Right? They had were sharing a bottle of wine. Memphis believes that the younger Big Brother folks are too in awe of her to take a shot. He also states, and this is part of the things that's laughable, he also believes he can get David to work with him and that David looks up to him. That's why he treats him the way he does. Right? In the nomination speech, Memphis didn't actually first mention the grown-up table. He said the big boys table, and production had him restate it. So a lot of people are pissed off that he would even use the term boy in the first place.
Right. It did cross through my head when he said it. I gotta say.
So you're on the feeds. You hear people like Tyler, Day, Bay, Danny, Nicole F, Nicole A, all talking about how Memphis went way over the line in terms of what he was talking about. Tyler made sure that he spoke to the feeders, saying that he and other members of the household feel that Memphis is on a power trip, and talking down to people. He then makes a statement saying that he's going to send him to a retirement home, his old ass. Tyler also states that he is really tight with Christmas and David. He feels that he's close with Bailey, but he doesn't think that they're at a place to work together. But he's happy that at least in comparison to where they left off last time, that they are friends. More notes. Memphis was pissed off that Ian got saved twice, quote unquote, saved twice. The twice that he's talking about is one, obviously, with Christmas saving Ian. He didn't tell Christmas that Ian was off the table in terms of one that he can protect. So he kind of let that go. But he was not happy with the Nicole that sucks for volunteering for
the
have-nots, because he kind of wanted to see Ian squirm and kind of have to make that like decision, right?
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, Memphis is pretty petty.
Yeah, and it continues the narrative exactly about like getting revenge. Like, is Dan thinking about, oh, I'm gonna have Ian pick a have-not just to screw him over? Dan is above that. Dan's not doing that kind of crap.
Right.
Let me see.
Memphis is a douche. Like, what else can you say about this guy?
Yes, he does.
He's not good. I don't want him to win. I hope he doesn't even make jury. That's what I want.
Okay. Also, not really game, but I thought this was hilarious. Danny was talking about how mothers postpartum like are all messed up. She talked about how one day she flooded her house. She just put on the tub and just walked away and let it flood her house. When talking about children, she says, and I quote, "They suck up everything good about you and leave you a rotting corpse." End quote.
Who said that?
Danny, mother of the year.
I thought she said her daughter was her world. And
It is a world, but you can also feel the ways about it too.
Yeah, that's hey, fair enough.
Um,
All right.
David also talked about being a have-not and asked Danny what the penalty is for eating while being a have-not. Danny told him, "Don't do it. It's not worth it." Although both of them did bond and talk about how Jackson never got in trouble last year for
Again,
Snackson
Mickey,
didn't get in trouble.
Jackson, Mickey, don't confuse everybody,
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's why I said Snackson. Watermelon
Can't confuse
Man.
Jack and Jackson. We would never kept that
Watermelon
straight.
Also, something to look forward to is Enzo found a map underneath the main concourse rug, and production told him to put it back. Don't look. So, who knows? That could be coming up as an important thing. That's all it for spoilers that I have that are important. That's up into yeah.
Like they'll probably turn
Okay.
it over for competition. Be my guess.
Right. Okay. So it looks like this week, did we get a sense of whether that veto will be used, Jeff? Is that pretty much a no?
I don't know if it will be or not. He has all the powers, so
Could go in any way. We don't really have a sense of that at this hour.
it seems to me that, I mean, from the episode, I would guess it seems like Memphis wants David out, and I think he wanted him to win that veto to like prove himself or whatever. Because if he didn't, then it was like, okay, then you're not good enough. That's kind of like that was the attitude I felt that Memphis had toward David, and I think he thinks he's not good enough to be in the house. And you know, in some ways, maybe I wouldn't say he's right, but maybe like from his perspective, like David from the TV show is just like, he's not impressing me the way he impressed me at the beginning of like just the short few days he was on last season, where he seemed to really understand the dynamics of the house. We're not getting any of that really from the DR from David, and I wish we were getting that more. You know, I wish he was kind of saying like, okay, I can kind of see who's aligned here, and actually have like a group that he was like a part of. But he's like a man on his own right now, and I kind of feel that way about Ian too. Like Ian's kind of like a man on an island as well. And the rest of them seem like to be like this kind of big smorgasbord. Not to bring back Star Trek lore, but they're like a smorgasbord of like what we could kind of like. We don't really care who goes out until it gets to about 10. They kind of know, like they want the players that weren't in the pre-gaming all that much, and didn't have all these previous relationships to get further in the game. So like I see like Keisha going, I see David going, I could see like Bailey or Davon going home as well, because I just don't think they're ingrained enough in the house. Nicole Anthony, like I'm not surprised she's on the block. The rest of the players that are kind of like being saved seem to be all the pre-gamers who I would imagine pre-gamed pretty hard. You know,
I think Davon's one of those.
I think she probably tried, but I don't know how well she would have pre-gamed. She probably did all right. You know?
Nicole A did pregame a little bit with Ovi and Ovi and David.
Ovi
being the connective tissue, right?
Okay.
But that is not working out. David and Nicole have been bonding over the fact that both them, you know, are on the block. Nicole A feels worse for David because, you know, she had a chance to play deep into the game, whereas David never did. So she's feeling very sad about the fact that they're in this position together. And you know what? That's how it goes sometimes. And both of them ultimately, regardless of what Memphis did, both of them kind of did to themselves in terms of their relationships and, you know, putting stuff together. Everyone was kind of talking, but one side of the house was very shy about like putting things down or had very bad reads, and therefore they were suspecting that one person is not part of this one. Like, was it Nicole A believes that Janelle is part of a group with Cody and Memphis, right? And so that's why she can't trust Janelle, because Janelle is always feeding the other side information, which is not true. But at the same time, Janelle is like very skeptical about Davon, although Davon did actually kind of mess things up regarding Keisha's eviction, because Kesar told Janelle Keisha is gone. There's no way she's going to be able to get enough votes. And then everyone else was doing a pretty good job of kind of being vague and like, if we have the numbers, we'll go for Keisha. And then Day went and opened her mouth and said that, yeah, if we have enough people, we can do it. And she made it into a definite thing. And then, like, Janelle was like, wait a second, I have Christmas, who says maybe. Um, I have Kesar, myself, and if I have you, I can most likely get Ian. All right. I can get, I think he was saying Memphis, 5. And then I only have to work on 2 more people, and we have enough votes. We're almost there. And then Janelle started working hard, kind of screwing up her game, right? She went to go tell Bailey, and Bailey's like, "Wait a second, I don't think you have the votes." And Bailey was like, "Okay, who's the votes you have?" It's like, "Well, we have Christmas." It's like, "I don't think you have Christmas." Bailey was like really like giving her the business in terms of like,
Right.
"I hear what you're saying, but I don't think you have what you have." Right?
Right.
Devon played it horribly, right? And people had to do damage control to kind of protect Devon. So, like, once again, you have one side of the house that's communicating better and kind of locking down stuff, and then you have the rest of the people that are in like pseudo alliances, pseudo together, right?
Mhm.
And there's no organization, right?
Yeah, it won't
The
work. They're a bunch of floaters.
Yeah, like in the grand scheme of things, you have people like Memphis, right? And not even Memphis, like Cody.
Yeah,
Like Cody's walking away from like his week like scot free.
yeah,
Even this week scot free. Memphis is gonna get all the heat, regardless of who he eliminates.
right. No,
Right?
Cody's.
Winning that,
Everyone's gonna even forget Cody was HOH.
winning that, he shouldn't have won the POV. Like he shouldn't have won that POV. Shouldn't have.
He apparently David did go talk to Memphis, and Memphis said, "I can honestly tell you, I am not targeting you. I wasn't targeting you. It is up to the house to decide who on who stays." Memphis told David. He says, "You won't hear me, and if anyone tells you they are a fucking liar, and there is a lot of that around here. I am not telling anyone who to vote for. It is the easiest way to keep blood off my hands," Memphis continued. "My job was to put 2 people up and make sure they stayed up by winning the veto, and now it is up to the House to decide. I think you have a great shot to stay." So that probably answers your question, Dave, about what he's going to do with the veto. So he wants, apparently, according to what he's telling David, is like, I don't really have any blood in my hands. I just put 2 people up. The House will figure it out.
He has all the
Which is a bad way to run an HOH, by the way. It's much better to kind of just say, like, this is my target, because then you only have one enemy, and that enemy hopefully goes home. So for him to do this, it's all up in the air, and then it's like Memphis, you can't trust him when he becomes HOH, because this is what he'll do. He'll just put 2 people up. He goes, the House will decide. So
his excuse for Nicole A is like terrible. Like David, you can kind of understand, and it makes rational sense. It's like, you spend the less amount of time. I'm putting you on the block because you're an easy thing that everyone can agree on. But
Right.
his excuse to Nicole was she didn't go for safety after they talked, but Cody didn't, Enzo didn't, Nicole F didn't, right? Danny
Right.
didn't, right? And it never seemed like any of them were possibilities of going on the block. What made the final decision between Nicole F and Nicole A, right? Nicole A also had a conversation with Memphis saying she wasn't going to use her safety because next week, when she does, and if she wins, she will save him. And that was the quote unquote deal that they made. So he absolutely has blood in his hands because people know about these conversations, know how he talked to David. So
Mhm.
like he's not getting away scot free. He misplayed this HOH poorly, and now that he has the veto and most likely is not going to play it, like all the blame is going to go on him, regardless of who gets voted out.
Right. And like we saw it on the episode tonight where Christmas won the safety suite thing. But after that, she went into like one of the rooms by herself and talked to the cameras, and she was like, "I wanted the whole house to know I'm here to play. I'm here to dominate. If you are coming after me, you better have your target dialed in because I am a sharpshooter, baby."
She wants
That's
to
what
be
she
the
said.
next
End
Janelle.
quote.
She wants to be Janelle.
Well, she was trying to get excited with Memphis, and because he was so pissed off about the Ian thing, she was like, yeah, and he was like, yeah, it's amazing. How are you? You know? Wow,
Yeah, he
I'm
doesn't seem to get
great.
excited for anything though. Like I feel like even when Memphis won the HOH, he was just like, "Okay," like,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
been waiting my
he
whole
doesn't
life
seem-
for this, 12 years for this or whatever, but
See, he wasn't bred for it. Like
he wasn't
He's
bred
not
for it.
bred
No,
for
he's
this.
no
Cody.
Calafiore.
Yeah,
He's
you
not bred
know.
for this.
not bred
He's not
for
bred
this.
for this. He
He
worked.
needs
He's
to
kind
bake
of
some
a-
pies, and then maybe he'll be there.
Look, he's gonna get voted off in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, for
he's
sure.
he's not long for this game at all.
No
It
way.
just
Yeah,
like you can't like unless you have a dominant side of the house, you cannot swing your dick like he did, right?
that's right.
No.
that's what, that's all he
And
was
even when
doing.
you do, you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
right. Yeah, that kind of swing. That's a big swing. That's what they mean.
Right? No
You
one's gonna
know?
appreciate it.
No
Like
one else appreciates it.
everyone's looking at it and it's like, man, we've got to rethink how we're working with Memphis. Like Memphis is expendable. If you're part of the group, you're like, yeah, let's get rid of Memphis. It's like, what deals is he going to be able to cut? Are you going to trust him? Not Nicole. I'm not going to trust him. Not Dave or Day or Bailey after David is gone. If he gets gone, is Kevin going to trust him? Not really. Not the way he treated the people. No way. He's
No
done.
way. Yeah.
Memphis ain't winning.
Memphis, they might drag him though far, like
So
Dan
he can be-
Giesling did.
So he can
So
be
he can be a
second place
goat.
again.
Yeah, so he can like nobody's gonna give him the money if nobody likes him, right?
He can be Paul
And-
2.0.
It could be a Paul 2.0, and Nicole Franzel must be like just licking her chops, looking at Memphis, going, "Oh my god, this will be perfect."
Oh my god.
You know,
Oh, Cody.
can we talk a little about Nicole Franzel?
What's he
And
say? What's he say tonight?
Well, I want to kind of talk about like how she is able to be like her and Ian are the only winners in there.
Mhm.
They're always talking about Ian as the big threat, but she just gets like this pass, and I think it has a lot to do with the pre-gaming. You know, with Nicole Franzel, I feel like a lot of it is just like with players like Danny and players like Memphis and Cody, she had like a good thing going into the house with those people and was like, okay, if we win and we win competitions, keep each other safe for as long as possible. And I just think she kind of like gets along well enough that in the house, but like on the DR, she like, I don't know, for the majority of the audience, I feel like she's super annoying.
She is.
And I think I don't know if the players pick up on it or like they want to get rid of her because she just kind of like plays possum, and she does it very well. She's very effective.
Well, she's a dangerous player. I wouldn't want her to keep her around. Like this whole when Memphis goes to Christmas tonight, he says, I don't want to keep Ian around no more than like a few weeks into this game. That's how I feel about her. Like and a few others. Like if I was in there, if I was an all-star in this game, I would be definitely like Nicole Franzel. Not just because I don't particularly like her as a player or personality, I just wouldn't trust her. I just know her track record, her
you don't
her
want her
merits
to get no
speak.
hooks into anyone.
Well, I just know what she's capable of. I know the social connection she has, and if anyone
Mhm.
had a brain in their head, they would definitely be targeting her or trying to rally some kind of a thing against anybody who's kind of rallied with her, because she's definitely putting together a group. Of course she is. So like I respect her as a player. I think she's effective. I think she deserves to be there. I just I just cheer for her demise. And
Effective like hemorrhoid cream. Gotcha.
effective, yes. placed on the whole. Nicole.
All right. So, who do you think? What do you feel? How's this week going to play out, Dave?
I think this week's kind of a dull affair, other than it's like a complete and utter disaster for Memphis, and we have to go through the motions. We deserve it. He deserves it, and the rest of the audience deserves to see sort of how this will be. Someone's got to suffer. Like obviously, someone gets voted out this week, probably David, right? So it's and this
You
is
think
not.
it's David?
I think it's likely David, yeah, but we'll see. You know,
I think they're gonna. I think the House is gonna take out Nicole, and I think Nicole Franzel will have a lot to do with that. She's not gonna Nicole Franzel and like players like her, like Enzo, that like alliance, Danny, are gonna look at Nicole as a way bigger threat than David. David is like he's out of his league a little bit. It seems like right now with these players. Now that might change, and it might change within a few weeks. And I really hope it does, because if he sticks around, because I do think he's a really smart, capable guy. But I think Nicole has a lot more experience and is a lot bigger threat to these players. They view her as a bigger threat. That would be my guess. So they'd probably rather get rid of her.
Plus, Nicole doesn't want to have two people with the same name as her.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
probably
the
motivation for her.
haters. They're probably calling me Frenzel the entire time. If I get rid of the other Nicole, then they will just reference Nicole. So I have to get her out for the sake of the feeders.
I think that's likely true. Like if she's not saying it out loud, I think it's almost I could
Mental.
almost be sure she's thinking it. So
Good.
But
and
you see how she thinks ahead, right? Like she said tonight, how she doesn't want to use her safety suite this week. She wants to save it for next week. She's like, I'm not going home. I'm not going on the block, because she knows she's like good with Memphis. Why is she so good with Memphis, by the way? Like I know they say they have an alliance, but like why? Like there's
Cody.
no rhyme or reason to these alliances. They're just all I have to go off is like it must have been a lot of pre-gaming. And it's the only thing I can think, because like it just doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, why is Nicole Franz? Like, I get Nicole Franz with Cody, and I get why like Memphis and Cody kind of want this relationship, but I feel like that relationship cannot last.
Remember, she was not she was not part of Memphis's handpicked group. Bailey was supposed to be that last person, and Danny moved him away from Bailey and onto Frenzel. So Frenzel's supposed to be like the last person, bottom of the totem pole in Memphis's group, right? But I guess not wanting to upset the apple cart, took a shot at Nicole A, because he knows that worst case scenario, if she comes after him, he has the numbers, supposedly.
Right.
yeah, that's what I think is going to happen though. So okay, either it will be Nicole or A, or it will be David. I say it's going to be David.
I honestly, I'd love Nicole, but I'm kind of hoping it's Nicole that's God.
Instead of David.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of
His
have the same
potential
feeling.
is yet to be fully unleashed.
Well, not even that. I just think that he has a little bit more space to maneuver, whereas Nicole kind of has played her game, and I think the only thing that she has left in her is winning mental comps, which she's going against like people like Ian, right? Like, I don't think she's up for it. Like, she's not going to win the physical competitions, or like the women who have an advantage competition, because Janelle, Danny, and Bailey are all there, right?
Yeah.
Even Kevin.
Christmas.
Yeah, and Chris, like Jesus, like Christmas is gonna, like, people are gonna look back, and I if she has the mindset that she's gonna win competitions, that's gonna be bad for people in our alliance. Anyways, like.
Yeah.
Whereas David seems like he's a more valuable piece from Memphis's messed up thought process, from Bay and Bay, Day, and Kevin wanting to connect with him as well. There's more than enough people that I feel closer to David than Nicole, who, and this is one of the reasons why being like a podcaster She seems. I feel like some people treat her like a fan as opposed to an actual Big Brother player. Like the way she fangirls over Janelle all the time when they do makeup together.
Yeah.
That's like, are you a player or are you just a fan that you're excited to be in my presence? Kind of thing. And you get that vibe from Nicole A sometimes that she's just happy to be here. Well, you were here, now you're gone.
Well, that's why she stuck around for as long as she did, partly in her season.
Yeah.
You know, because she wasn't necessarily the biggest threat. Like she was never in the alliance that was in power, but she was always like sort of the lowest priority target. Usually, a couple of times. Well, there was that whole time where she was sort of public enemy for a while for that 1 week, and
And
then
then Cliff
she
kind of
survived
protected
that.
her.
Yeah,
Cliff kind of protected her.
right.
And then everyone else around her was disappeared.
And after that, she like never, you know, it was always somebody else was always a bigger problem than her.
Mhm.
So for a while,
Well, the major alliance was already exposed, so
right?
it
You know,
was.
what's funny about David Alexander is he played last year,
Yep.
and he so he's from Atlanta, Georgia, and he came in as the occupation of photographer. Okay, this year he's now from Los Angeles, California, and his occupation is senior sales representative.
He took a career change and he
Career
moved
change. A
cities.
lot can happen in a year.
Moved
He
across.
I
lost.
know, I know.
He lost his job, so he got a new job.
Yeah, and he moved to LA, which I mean, moving up.
That's
I
where your
guess.
agent goes.
That's right.
That's what people go on Big Brother. They go to LA.
Yeah,
They go to LA and they stay there.
It's quicker to drive home when you get voted out. No plane ride involved.
Well, you want to do the circuit too. You want to do the circuit and do all the broadcasts and interviews. So,
Yeah,
which
for sure.
actually Keisha did get her exit interview, so it doesn't look like there's going to be a battle back. Not yet.
No,
Or
good. I don't
not for
need
this group.
Keisha to battle back. The great Keisha arc that's yet to come. No, it's fine. I'm fine with the first few just being voted out, and that's it. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like let's just. This is, with the exception of the safety suite twist, which I think is fine. I think it's playing out pretty well. I think that this is playing out so far like traditional Big Brother, which is good.
I think we're gonna have a rewind week.
Oh, I think we might, and I hate rewind weeks. I really do, but I don't. I think that they just slow everything down. And
Do you think what twist do you want to see? What twist do you not want to see this season?
What twist do I want to see? I'd like to see them do the double HOH thing at one point.
Okay.
Because I think that'll be fun. Not yet, maybe wait a few weeks, but I'd like to see because it'd be fun if like a Cody wins the HOH and gets to do one nom, but then you get like Kaser doing one of the noms too or something. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun.
That'd be cool. So that's one you'd like to see. What's one thing you don't want to see?
Battle of the Block, please no.
Everyone hated Battle of the Block.
Battle of the Block was part of double HOH.
No, I know.
So you
I
liked
I
half of
don't
the twist. You just didn't like the other half of the twist.
I don't like the Battle of the Block. No, just do
no.
the double HOH.
I don't want golden. Right, the Pandora's box.
You don't want Pandora's box.
No.
The Diamond Power Veto.
Diamond Power View. What I would like to see, it's not even a twist. I would like to see a challenge. I want pressure cooker back. Want the pressure cooker.
Yeah. Okay.
Pressure cooker is awesome.
What? I don't even know what the pressure cooker is.
Pressure cooker is like they had like this gigantic glass kind of, it's not glass, but like a plastic structure, and there were buttons in it. And the challenge is press the button. Last person to keep pressing the button is the one who wins. Right? And that's it. You know, you either win or you lose, right? If you let go. Right? And whoever has the strongest will is the one that's surviving. We don't need rain, right? It's just push a button. That's it. All of it is like eye level, so you have to put your hand up. Right? It's no like I can sit down or anything like that. Nope. You gotta push that button and keep that pressure on. And whoever stays the longest is the one who wins. That's what I want.
Okay, then I like that. I'm okay for that to come back.
Right. Too many physical competitions. I want someone have to fight
I generally speaking don't want twists too much. Like I don't need them. I find that they typically don't go for in the favor of the people I'm rooting for. They tend to go in the favor of people I'm rooting against usually. So I would rather do this just they don't be part of the game. Like sure, if they go to someone I like it, but that's just never the justice I get. So I say no more, none.
What's it do in season 15? Didn't they have a third? They had 3 people on the block, right? And then but one of them would be put up by the America's favorite player, or was it a mysterious choice, right? It was always Alyssa.
Yeah, that was the BB15. Yeah, I didn't like that.
Or like when they did Eric Stein when he had to play,
and they totally screwed over his.
Yeah,
he was the saboteur, though, right?
No, he wasn't. He was America's favorite.
He was America's player, so he had to do whatever America said. So he had to vote whatever way America told him to vote. He had to, throw a veto if he had to throw a veto, like stuff like this. It was amazing he got as far as he did in that game.
I'm looking. Pressure Cooker was last seen since Big Brother 6.
That was the last time they did it?
Last time they did Pressure Cooker. Like, I would suggest anyone look up Pressure Cooker Big Brother to see how it looks. It is not a fun challenge in terms of for the house guests, but I just want to see, like, there needs to be, like, Memphis is talking about people have to earn their keep. Let's see some tough competitions, right? So far, the competitions have been kind of disappointing, in my opinion. Same thing with the safety suite. Like, this one was just, like, embarrassing. Like, it looked like a Survivor challenge that, like, we had to make it in, like, 2 minutes. So anyone who you beat it in 1 minute and 38 seconds, that means it was not hard enough at all. That's not good enough for a thing challenge at all. I didn't like it. Same thing with the was it Twinkle Twinkle Little Star DJ thing? That was lame.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. The safety suite has sucked as far as the competitions go. It's been very lazy. The way they've
no BB Canada. Big Brother Canada knows how to do competitions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're much better at it, for sure. But at the same time, like even Big Brother All Stars is better at the competitions. Like, what's going on? Like, why are they so bad? It's like they're purposely making them bad.
Yeah,
and I don't really understand it. Like, if it has to do with COVID, like I can kind of understand it, but at the same time, this has been a problem with Big Brother for a while. Like, the competitions just keep getting worse and worse.
They just have to make a challenge that each person goes through one at a time. So I don't think it's that difficult. You're basically just making a puzzle for somebody, or
no, like usually, like they used to have a lot more fun competitions. A lot, like especially like back in like Dan's first season, they had like these like ones where they had to like there's a big wall and they'd have to figure out like what to do, and it was like a lot more problem solving and that kind of stuff. And I wish they would make them harder because it should be difficult.
Where are the costumes?
Yeah, I didn't see Ian wearing his costume.
Like, they got
where was Ian's costume?
No, he didn't. Remember, he just got saved, so his costume would be coming next episode, I assume, for the week.
Yeah,
because Noms are Saturday. No, Noms are Friday
afternoon.
Yeah, Veto pull is Saturday, and I think Veto was Sunday. So it should be in the next episode. I think he would have got it. I don't even know what his punishment was. I didn't read it, or they didn't make a big deal of it.
I just thought he would have to wear the suit again. It's something different.
No, I think they're going to change it every week. It's not going to be the same thing, right? Only Janelle's a star.
If you say so. I think they're all stars.
Oh, burr.
Yeah,
except David. Sorry, David.
Except for David. He hasn't proven himself. He's not at the grown-up table yet.
The pressure cooker competition in season 6 and the endurance HOH in season 8 both went over 8 hours.
8 hours for feeds watching these people squirm. They haven't really let people out into the backyard. And like people are freaking out. Like Enzo's freaking out about it.
Yeah, so
What's that about?
Acer actually did it for 11 hours, the pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker, 11 hours.
Yeah, him and Jennifer. And then, yeah, it's
The
like
eighth
11.
one, is that the eighth one? The car? I thought the car was like BB2 or BB. The car endurance one, like you have to keep touching the car,
I don't.
and then one person left to pee. Like, who's the car? The car.
Remember the competition in 14 where it was like they were playing like the claw game or whatever, and they had to get the ball, and then like Dan was like pushing Brittany over, and it was like he went fucking nuts on that competition. And I don't know, bring me back that one. Bring me back where like they will do anything to win it, and they don't care if they hurt. That's what we need, more of that. They're too simpatico with each other right now. We need some drama.
Yeah. I just hate that the endurance competitions are always like hanging from a wall, and then they'll play some water will shoot at you, and the wall will kind of tip over. It's the same one every season. It's like, it's so done. Please bring back pressure cooker.
Yeah, bring back the pressure cooker. I'm all for it.
Let these people squirm, because like, what happens when it's like, okay, to like, I either want it for HOH or more likely for HOH or veto. More for veto. And you have like, okay, bring back the pressure cooker. Let's do suffer. Yes. Like, I wish, and Big Brother Canada has done this more than the US. It's like, things are a little bit too soft for these house guests, right?
Yeah.
They need to be punished. Like, I like the fact that the hot water isn't really working all the time. They should do it like, what was it? I think Australia did it one year, where someone had to go on an exercise bike and pedal for like a certain amount of time for people to get hot water, to take a shower.
I like that. It gives them something
Right.
to do. That's an
Right?
activity.
Like, where you have to kind of band together. I wish they were able to do the meal competitions, because just having everything that you want like available sucks. Right? Just like, put them through the ringer.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Survivor definitely has that forced camaraderie, because you have to gather firewood together. You have to do certain things just to,
You have
like,
to build
live
a
out on a
shelter.
camp, right?
Right?
Even on just a basic level. Even if you're a lazy person, I think if you're living out in Survivor, there's a certain level of participation that is just required. You just can't get around it. And
Yeah.
in the house, I think you can just live in your bed, come out, get food, talk to whoever.
Yeah. People just sit down, like Dan. When Dan was playing, he used to always sit on the couch and read his Bible. He would just spend
Bible?
like hours. Dan, yeah.
Dan. Okay.
Dan and his Bible. That's why he was able to get away with it. Get away with a lot of things. Because you know where he was. He wasn't scheming. He was like on that couch reading his Bible.
Right.
And then he went back when he was back for 14. He was doing that a lot. You would find him. He's like, where's Dan? Dan's sitting in the couch main area reading his Bible.
So he's not scheming, but he already schemed. He's just not busy anymore.
Because he was smart. He's smart. Whereas like the rookies are like in the thing, and they're like, hey, let's talk. But we're whispering really loud. And then when someone comes in, we're like, hey, we're going to change the subject. And I don't really have anything else to say. Like, he's playing with Joe and Gen City. Like, the path of like skilled people he's playing against is a lot lower. Willie Hands.
Yeah, Willie Hands was one of the best.
He was ready to headbutt the competition. Anyways,
yeah, let's.
A idea would be really good though, Jaemeel, because it would be fun to stick all of these people into one small spot for a long period of time, and then the control in the game isn't as easy. Like they know the whole expect the unexpected. The players know exactly what to expect, and they need to kind of change that. They need to shake it up in a way that puts them all in this one spot where they have to talk game, where they have to like blow each other's games up. Those are the moments we want. You know,
All right, you have to get them major adversity, but you also have to give them strong enough incentive to take risks, right? Because they've done seasons where they had like the apple of or the tree of knowledge or whatever the hell it was, and most of those apples were poison apples, and it didn't really work out too much. Not to mention there was a stigma against not even picking one in the first place. I think you need to I don't know how many twists you have to throw at it, but I think you do have to give sort of underdogs the ability to sort of climb out of things, like have these challenges where they can save themselves or whatever before noms or whatever. Like, I don't know, like anything that's going to give them, give the people who want to work hard a chance to fight their way out of bad situations. I think people will always cheer for that. I think that always makes for good TV.
I agree.
Well, on that note, then let's wrap up our coverage of this Sunday night, the nominations for Big Brother All-Stars 22. We'll be back Wednesday night to talk about the veto episode, even though we kind of know who already won the veto and all that. But, it doesn't matter. We're still going to react to the episode like we don't know. Or we
It's
didn't
the
see that
DRs
coming.
the DRs make it all.
And the DRs will make it all. It will all be what we learned in the DRs. So we'll be covering that. And Thursday we'll be, of course, here for the live eviction night. It's all live, but all these things. I guess they're not all live, but it's just it's no live audience. It's kind of like the hockey games right now with no crowd. Not quite the same thing, but the eviction will happen Thursday night, and that will have a significant thing. Maybe we'll even get a new HOH that night. Who knows? So looking forward to that. Also, check out our other channel, Live Long and Podcast. We do a bunch of Star Trek podcasts over there, multi-times a week. Tuesday nights, Deep Space Nine. Wednesdays, original series. Thursdays, Lower Decks. We do that all the same night. We do Big Brother as well as Star Trek Radio Theater. So you got to check all those out if you like anything about Star Trek. I mean, if you don't, go check it out. It's all linked on our channel, which you can find, which is called, again, Live Long and Podcast, and our other podcast, Trivial Debates. So, which is a debate show. All right. So anyway, let's wrap up tonight. And thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Jaemeel. I'm Dave, and we'll